Hi, I'm Amy Sermon of Amy Sermon School of Jewellery. I run a jewellery school here in Oxford. The video that you're about to watch is a tutorial that I did for one of my weekly classes during a class, and it is about making jump rings using some 1.5mm wire. I thought it'd be nice to share on YouTube for others to be able to see it as well. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any questions at all about the tutorial, you can contact us via the links that you see attached to the video or go via our website, which is amysermon.com. Here's the video. Okay, so what we are going to make this morning are jump rings. I'm going to show you how to make jump rings. So I have got some 1.5mm wire, and I've got 15 centimeters long. So 1.5mm at 150 millimeters long. I am also going to want a former that's got this stepped mandrel as my former, and then I will need my piercing saw to cut through them, and also a set of pliers, chain nose pliers and flat nose pliers. Okay, so first what we're going to do, now you can make your jump rings whatever size you want. You can make them lighter, you can make them bigger, you can do all sorts of different combinations. I'm going to show you making a size that I use a lot, which is a 6mm inner diameter. So ultimately it would be like what would be described as a 9mm jump ring, because jump rings, when you buy them, describe the outside diameter, not the inside diameter. Okay, so if you've got like a 5mm jump ring, that would be a 3mm inside diameter made with a 1mm wire. Okay, yeah. So what we're going to do is, this will make 6 jump rings for us, or 5, I can't remember how many now. So what we're going to do, we hold it onto our former and we hold it so we have a little section left over the top there. If you do that too small, then this digs in your thumb and it's very uncomfortable to hold. So you hold it so it sits over the top, and then you will pull that around the former. You want to make sure that this little coil of wire is as close and as neat together as possible. Again, like we were looking at when we made our clasp, whenever you're working with wires like this, I'm very close. My fingers are very close to where I'm working. If I was out here trying to pull it round, I'm not going to get it nice and close to my former there. So it all wants to sit nice and close together. And there, look. So then we have this little bit that looks like a piece of barbed wire. Then what we do is we take our flat nose pliers, we grip that end. See how I'm holding it around it? And then we push it down like that. Well, practice, practice. And then this one, like that, look. And we pull that round. Like so.
I think you must have mine grip.
I mean, I bet you'd find that your hands are stronger through doing this. They ultimately would be through working with the tools. Okay, so now I'm going to shuffle you over here so you can see the bench peg a bit better. And then what we're going to do is we're going to cut through them. Now, if you look at what I've got there,
Like a spring.
look, I've got a little spring. It starts there and it finishes there. So that's pretty much bang on. So that's made us 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rings. Okay, so I'm going to hold it up against the bench peg, and I'm going to start on one of those ends. So you see there's the little end there, and I'm going to start cutting it right up against that end. So I push it up against here, and I'm going to start to take it down. Now, this technique is very good for creating cuts on your fingers. So if you are worried about that, then remember we have that finger tape down in the drawer that you can use. It's a green tape and it sticks to itself, but it doesn't stick to your finger. If you're at home just popping a plaster on, it's usually that finger that's the culprit. So you could always put, because you see that's where you're holding it like that. So I'm going to hold that up against the bench peg. It does feel a little bit awkward. See how I'm coming round the back and I'm holding it there? And then we're going to cut through. So let the saw do the work, and as you saw through one, look, they all start to come off. I've done it a lot.
little bit, tiny little bit that's just gone on the floor. These all get caught around here, but you get nice flat ends. You might want to speed things up and cut through with a pair of snips. You will not get nice straight ends like that. Oh, it's a bit bright. Like that if you do so, you see? Okay, so now what we need to do is we need to work on getting these two ends together. So you will use a pair of chain nose pliers. This is how to do it correctly. You can get away with using different types of pliers if you don't all have these, but it will make your job more difficult. So chain nose pliers go up one side. The opening is sitting up at 12 o'clock, being up here, and then your flat nose pliers come in on that angle, and then you twist together. That is how you correctly open and close a jump ring, with the chain nose and the flat nose pliers. So this was my end one. Can you see it's a bit flat there? It's kind of a bit unavoidable. So you will end up with one that is slightly off. But that one you can texture, so you wouldn't notice it anyway. So you can get all those lined up. You can use them as they are. That weight is very good for just using as it is without soldering it, because that would take a bit of weight to pull that open, but they are better soldered. So then you can solder them all up. And then you've got your little selection of these that are ready. Then what you can do is you can pop them onto a former. Now I'm using a centre punch here as a little former. I'm just going to grab a hammer with a ball peen end. Okay, so I've put it onto there so it can push all the way up. Then you can push that up against a bench peg up on the side there, and you can hammer. See how I'm twisting it? Did you notice that? I'm just rolling it round, and then I've got a nice textured jump ring all the way around. So you can do them that way. You could texture it and flatten it. So you could put one down onto the bench peg and just flatten it. Oh, that one's open like that. So you've got a nice little flat one there as well. You could texture on both sides. So there's all sorts of different things that you could do that way as well with texturing, either using a steel plate or your former there. Okay? Brilliant. Well, if you've made it through to see me again, it means you've watched the video, which is great. I hope it did make sense to you. And like I said at the beginning, please do contact us if you have any questions. I'm sorry that it wasn't set up perfectly, but my intent wasn't really to post it up on YouTube. But actually, when I watched it back the other day, I thought it'd be quite nice too, because there's hopefully some useful information amongst it. Thanks for watching again, and I hope you can subscribe to our channel so you can be kept up to date when we release new content for you all.